So in this segment, we're going to be discussing some of the positive things Labour have been doing, and I think I've probably been guilty of it a little bit, focusing more on the negative stuff. But it's more to kind of push back and highlight to people what's going on, so that in the hopes that maybe they write to their MP, or they might be aware of some of the negative consequences coming down the pipeline, so they can prepare for it. But some of this stuff Labour barely even talk about as well in their comms, and even the pro-Labour goons don't even cover all of this stuff as well. So I saw this just hot off the press, just before I was making this video, which is from Pippa Carrera. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Saying boss in the UK will be banned from using NDAs to silence employees who have suffered harassment and discrimination in the workplace as part of the government's workers' rights. So again, I think this is new. This is new in terms of this legislation. I think it's great, purely because there are a lot of employers who will hide really dodgy things behind NDAs and make it very difficult for victims to come forward, even if the stories are gone public. So I think this is actually a really great bit of legislation. So this is good. You've got this for more parents. When it comes to childcare.
Hi, my name's Tia. I'm a working mum and I have a 2-year-old. We're actually expecting baby number 2 on the way as well. And with the new 30 hours coming into play in September, that'll be a really big help.
It has lifted a huge weight off our shoulders.
I was really appreciative of this because we couldn't have afforded to send our children to nursery for that amount of time.
Yeah, nursery is childcare is very expensive in this country. So this expansion is good. I think Sunak did announce it, but the problem is with the Conservatives, they didn't announce the funding. A lot of these nurseries were saying we can't afford to do this. So hopefully Labour will put the money in for this stuff. I guess they'll have to. This is another good bit of legislation around miscarriages.
Nobody really knows the official number of miscarriages because there's no data collected. Nowhere else in the world with regards to anything else, whether it's product, purchase or medical records. We have data on everything, but not on miscarriage. So I think that tells you all you need to know about how seriously this sector of women's health in general is taken. The fact that now you will get bereavement leave as opposed to sick leave. You're not ill, you've lost a child. That's a death in the family. So it's only right that this is recognised and not before time.
And obviously, sick leave is treated as something different as well. So there's a limit on how much sick leave you can take. So I think having it as bereavement leave makes sense.
It's absolutely the thing that struck me about that interview, but also that report we had a little earlier, was just about how people are able to talk about it and engage with it and care for families, because it's the whole family that can be affected.
Well, it's unspoken, it's a taboo. Nobody wants to talk about dead babies, but you have to actually say it as it is. To lose a child, it's harrowing, it's traumatic, and the entire family experiences it, but nobody wants to discuss it because it's women's health, it's something that's swept under the carpet, and it's something, I suppose, that people are so terrified of. The fact that in this country you still have to wait for 3 consecutive miscarriages before receiving any kind of medical intervention. You wouldn't wait for...
You have to wait for that's insanity. Like waiting for wow, I didn't know that.
3 heart attacks, and there's no medical or logical reason as to why it's 3. In America it's 2. This kind of treatment of women and their families has to stop, and this is the start of that. So of course we welcome that with open arms.
There's another positive change when it comes to miscarriages and things like that, especially when Labour are making changes to sick leave. I'm still annoyed about them when it comes to 0 hours contracts. But there are positive aspects to this bill. They're talking about £400 million boost to Sure Start centres. One of the weird things is that in the Mirror article they put it at 400 million, but in the BBC article it's at 5. So again, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. But this was one of the original Labour ideas. Sunak tried to steal the thunder on it a little bit, but I think Bridget Phillipson kind of said, like, no, what we're doing and what they're doing is 2 different things. Shadow Education Secretary Laura Trott talking about this, a government defined by broken promises and U-turns. Like, no, bro, that was you guys. You guys talked about 40 new hospitals and all of this stuff and didn't put any of the money for it. So yeah, you can shut up, mate. But yeah, it's good for families that have support, especially I think now where it feels like society's less community based, with a lot of people having to move away from their families and things because of cost of living, etc. So this is good news. We'll have to wait and see on specific details. Like, I'm not too clued in on what Sure Start centres, what they specifically offer. But I think it does help for early guidance. Like in my community centre, I did see a lot of kind of planning for things like mother and baby and things like that. So it'd be good to have this kind of thing. I think a good safe space for people. One of the things I always did appreciate was, you know, I can always run away to the library if things ever got too much for me. So yeah, this is good news. And finally, I saw this again. This is something Labour barely talking about. Like, you know, they're putting more money in for social housing. The plan is backed by a 39 billion investment from the Chancellor. So this is a lot of money. And again, we'll have to see the specifics of this in terms of where they're looking to build houses, what are the metrics, because, you know, there is obviously the political angle of building in kind of Labour areas to kind of, you know, placate you know, their specific voters or swing seats. Is going to be based on need. My only major concern for this is it's a 10-year program. So the problem with a 10-year program is you could do most of the spade work in the last 5 years. So you can say, you know, when voters ask, oh, how come nothing's really happened, you say, oh, well, look, it's a 10-year program, guys. You know, we've got still another 5 years to fix it, and if you want us to get through this stuff, you're gonna have to vote for us again. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works. And, you know, planning permission and other things. You know, it's not the biggest boost. You know, Labour claims it's the biggest boost in a generation, because they're comparing it to kind of old Labour. You know, kind of Blair Brown Labour. So you can see it's higher, but again, how do you define a generation? Is it 25 years? Is it 15 years? I don't know, but I think, you know, in terms of like the raw amount, you can see how much was cut under the coalition government. It's crazy, isn't it? Like if you look at it, was at, you know, 4.53 billion. And then it was cut to, you know, not even 1 billion. That's crazy enough. And then, you know, it went up under the Tories, you know, under Boris Johnson. Or it was meant to have gone up, but, you know, I don't think they really put the money in, to be honest with you. So it's phenomenal stuff, really. So yeah, there's some good policies from Labour that, you know, I haven't seen a ton of coverage on this stuff. Okay, with the NDA stuff, that's fresh. Like, you know, by the time you see this, it'll be a little bit old, but with this, barely seen anything on that. With this again, I guess these are quite fresh, but if I release this video tomorrow on the 8th, it would be quite a fresh topic, to be fair, but that's not the point. Anyways, some good policies. So yeah, you know, we're gonna wait and see if these get watered down in committee and things, but yeah, pretty solid. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.